In public, every move you make declares who truly holds the power, you or someone else. Yet most people sabotage themselves, not on the battlefield, but in silence, in the small, unnoticed moments of everyday life. Today, you will learn what Niccolò Machiavelli warned long ago, the 9 fatal mistakes you must never make in public if you wish to be respected, feared, and never humiliated again. Man is not judged in the quiet of solitude, but in the chaos of the crowd. In the eyes of others, you are either a spectacle of strength or a cautionary tale. And if you fail to control the theater of your public image, someone else will write the story of your downfall. I am Niccolò Machiavelli, and today I will not teach you what to do, but what you must never do, if you wish to rule your world like a prince and not perish like a fool. Number 20. Never reveal your emotions. Never reveal your emotions, not in public. Not when eyes are watching, not even when your world quietly crumbles beneath your feet. In the court of power, emotion is not admired, it is dissected. Every flicker of the eye, every tremble in the voice, every sigh, every flinch, all of it is noted, analyzed, and weaponized. The man who exposes his feelings before the crowd believes he is being authentic. But authenticity, when shown to the wrong audience, is not strength. It is a gamble. Understand this: public spaces are not safe spaces. They are colosseums, and in them you are either the beast or the bleeding man in chains. When you cry in public, they do not see pain, they see opportunity. When you rage, they do not hear injustice, they hear instability. When you panic, they do not offer help. They smell blood in the water. Emotion shown carelessly makes you predictable, and the predictable man is already defeated. This world does not reward raw honesty. It rewards strategy. Those who command their expression command their image. The stoic, the composed, the unreadable. He becomes a mystery, and mystery is power. What's more dangerous? A man you can read like a book, or one whose pages are sealed tight. Let the weak believe that crying makes them brave. Let the naive believe that public breakdowns bring sympathy. But you must be the opposite. Smile when you are furious. Speak gently when you are under attack. Mask your face when your heart screams for relief. Show no cracks, no clues, no softness. Because when you show the world your heart, the world will not protect it. It will play with it. Number 2, never argue loudly in public. Never argue loudly in public. The moment your voice rises above reason, you've already surrendered your power. Men often believe dominance lies in volume, that if they shout louder, they win. But those who shout in the streets, in the halls, before peers or strangers, reveal themselves as emotionally undisciplined. And discipline is the foundation of all control. The loud man tries to convince the world. The powerful man has no need. Arguing in public exposes far too much where your pride lies, where your insecurities dwell, and where your patience ends. In those heated moments, you hand over a blueprint of your weaknesses. The crowd does not remember your point. They remember your reaction, not your logic, but your loss of composure. Think like a prince. Would a ruler shout before the mob? Would he explain himself to those beneath him? No, he understands one thing. Silence crushes louder than words. When 2 men argue in public, both appear foolish. But the one who remains calm, measured, poised, he becomes untouchable. He draws the crowd not through noise, but through mystery. His silence dares others to wonder what he knows, what he plans, what he withholds. And that quiet uncertainty is far more terrifying than any shouted word. Worse still, loud arguments make you a spectacle. You become the story people whisper about, the mockery that spreads, the man who lost control. Your enemies don't need to strike. You expose yourself for them. You become predictable in your anger, predictable in your triggers, predictable in your pride. Control is not proven in dominating others, but in dominating yourself. And the man who must raise his voice in front of others has already lowered his status before them all. Number 3. Never display desperation. Never display desperation. Not in your walk, not in your words, not even in your silence. Desperation is a scent, faint to the desperate man himself, but overpowering to everyone around him. It seeps through every gesture, every tone, every attempt to impress. And once it is sensed, the crowd's perception shifts instantly. You are no longer a man to respect. You are a man to use. When you ask too eagerly, people say no, not because they cannot say yes, but because your need strips you of value. In politics, in courtship, in negotiation, the man who appears desperate is seen as one who lacks options, leverage, and worth. The hungry man is not fed. He is examined, studied, and eventually discarded. You must behave as though nothing is missing, as though no opportunity, no person, no outcome is vital to your survival. Because the moment others sense you need something, they begin to manipulate you, and you begin to shrink. A prince may be at war, his coffers empty, his allies fleeing, yet his face remains unreadable, his posture tall, his tone calm. This illusion is not vanity, it is strategy. For when the world believes you are fine, they treat you accordingly. But show even a flicker of desperation, and they turn you into prey. Understand this, people are drawn to confidence, even if it's a lie. They follow those who walk as if they could walk away. They respect those who seem in control, even when they are drowning. So if you must panic, do it in private. If you must beg, bite your tongue. If you are rejected, smile. The world is always watching, waiting to decide whether you are the hunter or the starving hound following behind. Number 4. Never over-compliment or flatter. Never over-compliment or flatter. In the theater of public life, the flatterer is never admired. He is tolerated and always suspected. Men believe that kind words win favor. They think that if they praise enough, smile enough, bow enough, doors will open. But power is not seduced by servitude, it is repelled by it. The one who flatters too much, too easily, too publicly, exposes weakness. And weakness, once revealed, is never forgiven. When you praise someone excessively, it begins to reek, not of admiration, but of calculation. People start to sense the performance behind your words. They wonder, what does he want from me? And once your motives are questioned, your reputation is diminished. You are no longer seen as sincere, but as strategic, a manipulator who uses flattery like a bribe. Even worse, when you overpraise someone in public, you place yourself beneath them. You elevate their image while lowering your own standing in the eyes of the room. It may seem harmless, but in the game of hierarchy, even the smallest bow is remembered. The wise man knows how to compliment with precision. A single, carefully chosen praise at the right moment can forge loyalty. But endless admiration dilutes your value. It makes your words cheap. It tells the world you are seeking approval. And the man who seeks approval has already surrendered his authority. Flattery should be like a dagger wrapped in silk, soft to the touch, but always strategic. Never offer more than necessary. Never reveal that you are trying to win someone over. And above all, never let your admiration resemble submission, because in the public arena, they never remember who praised the king, only who walked beside him as an equal. Number 5. Never criticize someone openly. Never criticize someone openly. Not in public, not where the crowd listens, not where your words echo longer than your presence. To publicly criticize another is to declare war without a plan. It feels righteous in the moment, bold, sharp, decisive. But the crowd remembers the spectacle, and so does your target. The man you humiliate in front of others may smile, may nod, may even agree, but inside something has shifted. You have planted a seed, the seed of vengeance. Every public insult, every jab, every correction made under the gaze of others wounds not only ego but pride. And pride is the most dangerous thing to provoke because it does not heal, it plots. A man who loses face before many will seek to restore it, not through reason but retaliation. He will wait. He will gather. He will strike when your guard is down. Worse still, you invite the judgment of the audience. They ask themselves, who will he turn on next? Even if you are right, your method is questioned. Your character is dissected. You've made an enemy, yes, but you've also made everyone else uneasy. And unease becomes distrust. The true strategist never wastes his power on public attacks. He critiques in private. He plants doubt with subtle precision. He allows others to reach the judgment themselves while his hands remain clean. Silence cuts deeper than rebuke. Distance chills more than insult. And manipulation lasts far longer than confrontation. Public criticism may grant you a fleeting sense of dominance, but it fades quickly. Real power is quiet, deliberate, and unseen. So if you must destroy a rival, do not declare it. Let them crumble slowly under their own weight, while you smile politely, sip your wine, and remain untouchable. Number 6. Never try to be the funniest. Never try to be the funniest person in the room. The fool may amuse the court, but he never rules it. There is a dangerous seduction in making others laugh, a moment of charm, a flicker of attention, a false sense of belonging. But what feels like connection is often corrosion. The more they laugh at your jokes, the less seriously they take your presence. You become familiar, predictable, harmless, and in the court of power, harmless is worthless. Humor, when forced, becomes self-sabotage. The man who must be liked, who constantly seeks to amuse, trades his dignity for applause. They may laugh, yes, but they are laughing at you, not with respect, not with fear, but with amusement. And the entertainer is disposable. The funniest man becomes the jester, not the general, not the king, not the one they follow in silence. He is remembered but never revered, and in public respect is the only currency that cannot be imitated. Do not confuse silence for weakness. Do not mistake laughter for loyalty. People remember who made them feel powerful, not who made them laugh while feeling superior. The prince does not chase laughter. He chooses silence, observation, and presence. And when he finally speaks, his words carry weight, not comedy. Even worse, humor reveals too much. Every joke hides a truth. Every punchline is a window into your mind. The more you speak to entertain, the more you expose your insecurities, your thoughts, your blind spots. And the wrong listener will remember. They will smile now and use it later. There is power in being unreadable. There is danger in being the clown. Number 7, never overshare your personal life. Never overshare your personal life. Your pain, your plans, your past, these are not public offerings. They are sacred weapons or silent vulnerabilities. Most people believe that openness creates connection, that by revealing more they will earn trust, sympathy, and belonging. But the public is not your friend. It is a mirror that remembers everything, and everything you offer it, it keeps. What you reveal in confidence today may be used against you tomorrow. Every detail you share, every heartbreak, every regret, every whispered ambition is a page torn from your inner armor. You think you are building bridges, but in truth, you are handing blueprints to those who might destroy them. Power thrives on mystery. When you speak too freely, you dissolve the aura that guards you. You become too common, too predictable, too known. And once the crowd understands you, they no longer fear you. They no longer respect what they can read too easily. Even those who smile and nod as you speak your truth do not confuse their attention for loyalty. Many listen not to care, but to collect. And later they will retell your story, not as tribute, but as gossip. Your openness becomes their entertainment. Your vulnerability becomes their weapon. A prince does not speak from his heart in public. He speaks from his mask. He does not display his wound. He displays his armor. Because he knows this truth. The more the world knows about your life, the less it values your power. Mystery commands respect. Familiarity breeds contempt, and every time you overshare, you give away a piece of your kingdom. One sentence at a time. Number 8. Never show off wealth or success. Never show off wealth or success. To parade your fortune is to invite quiet rebellion. To boast of your triumphs is to summon silent enemies. Men believe that displaying success wins admiration, but admiration is fickle. What it awakens more often is not praise, but resentment. The more you flaunt what you possess, the more you remind others of what they lack. And envy does not speak, it plots. True power does not shout, it whispers. It is felt, not flaunted. The prince who understands the psychology of men knows this well. The moment you become the glowing symbol of abundance, you also become the clearest target. People do not attack the weak. They attack the one who has more and dares to show it. Even those who smile at your display may secretly despise it. Every extravagant garment, every glittering watch, every boastful mention of success divides the room. Some will applaud, others will take note, not of your brilliance, but of your arrogance. And arrogance, once seen, marks the beginning of your fall. It is far wiser to let others suspect your success than to show it. Subtlety is the crown of kings. The man who walks with quiet certainty, whose power is implied rather than announced, commands deeper respect. Because what is hidden invites curiosity. What is displayed invites envy. The wise conceal their wealth, veil their victories, and wear humility as armor. They understand that the illusion of modesty is a far stronger shield than steel. For once you make others feel beneath you, they will find a way, silently, patiently, to pull you down. And they will not strike when you are prepared. They will strike when you are adored most. Number 9. Never lose control of your body or voice. Never lose control of your body or voice. Because even before you speak, you are speaking. The world reads you long before it hears you. Every twitch of the eye, every shift in your stance, every tremor in your hand, they all speak louder than your words. And once the crowd senses hesitation in your body, they no longer believe in your authority. No matter how sharp your mind or how sound your argument, if your voice cracks, if your shoulders slump, if your gaze falters, they remember not your wisdom, but your weakness. Power never looks unsure. Understand this. Dominance begins not with words, but with presence. Your body must announce your confidence before your lips move. Your walk must command attention before your speech does. Your silence must weigh heavier than their noise. Those who rule know the strength of stillness. They know the danger of composure. Because a man who stands unmoved, who speaks slowly, who never lets his energy slip, terrifies those who thrive on reaction. In public, control is everything. When attacked, do not flinch. When insulted, do not respond. When tested, slow your breath, not your resolve. The moment your tone rises, your eyes dart, or your breath quickens. Your opponent sees the map of your weaknesses. They now know what breaks you. Your body must serve your power, not betray it. The greatest leaders were not always the loudest, but they were always the calmest. For in calm there is calculation. In stillness there is strength. In silence there is absolute control. You walk among wolves. Every glance is a judgment. Every word a test. Every gesture a measure of dominance. Power is not built in grand speeches or heroic acts. It is carved quietly in the way you carry yourself when the world watches. And the world is always watching. Most men expose themselves not through confession, but through carelessness, a nervous laugh, a needy compliment, a reflexive reaction. And in those small, fleeting moments, they surrender their crown without even knowing they had one. A prince does not beg. He does not boast. He does not entertain. And he never explains. He observes. He controls. He withholds, not out of fear but out of mastery. What you have learned are not lessons in manners. They are laws of survival, of dominance, of commanding perception in a world that punishes weakness, not with swords, but with silence, ridicule, and disregard. So the next time you stand before the crowd, remember, your reputation is your armor, your silence is your blade, and your image is your kingdom. Defend it, or be devoured by those who never once showed you theirs. Defend it, or be devoured by those who never once showed you theirs. And now understand what comes after the image is crafted and the silence is kept. Consequence. Power begets attention, and attention is the currency of consequence. Every choice you make in public writes a ledger in other people's minds. Debts of favor, notes of suspicion, entries of envy. Learn to read that ledger. Learn to balance what you give and what you take so that you are never overdrawn. When you enter a room, do not arrive to impress. Arrive to observe. Let others announce themselves with flourish and desperation. You will learn everything you need from their excess. Name, title, story, all of it will spill out like water from a cracked jar. You do not need to be the loudest faucet. Collect their leaks. Remember details that matter. There is immense force in remembering a name, in recalling a past kindness, in returning a small, precise favor when it is least expected. These are the invisible threads that bind people to you without making them aware they are bound. Never make promises in haste. A promise given lightly is currency spent foolishly. Men who promise the moon for applause will find their coffers empty when the real storm comes. Instead, vow in silence, act in secrecy, and deliver with the calm of one who knew all along. Let your actions, not your vows, be the proofs that rewrite reputations. People forget words. They record actions. Keep your alliances close and your judgments closer. There is safety in ambiguity. Allow friends to wonder where your loyalties truly lie. A ruler who appears to love only one faction becomes a target for all the others. But the one who plays the long game, who listens with one ear and smiles with the other, survives the turning of tides. Always assume that those who stand beside you today may stand against you tomorrow. Prepare quietly for betrayal. The prudent man has contingencies not to show cowardice, but to show wisdom. Do not mistake civility for weakness. Courtesy is a costume that fits the wise. A hand extended with polished manners can hide an iron fist. Use civility as camouflage. It disarms the rash and masks your strategy from the impatient. There is skill in the graceful refusal. When declining, do so with generosity of tone and firmness of intent. Let no door slam in the world. Close them gently, so those who remain angry will waste their rage on your elegance, not on your misstep. Cultivate a small, controlled circle of truth. There is a difference between confidants and companions. Confidants are instruments. Companions are scenery. Share your real plans with the former, your curated stories with the latter. The fewer who truly know you, the fewer who can betray you. Trust must be rationed like the rarest wine, savored by the few, never squandered. Master the art of timing. The right word at the wrong moment is ruinous. The wrong word at the right moment can be redeemed. Patience is not idleness. It is power's stealth. Do not rush to strike and do not rush to praise. Allow events to reveal themselves, then act with a precision that makes your movement appear inevitable. Timing transforms small acts into decisive blows, and cautious suggestions into irreversible shifts in loyalty. Remember that reputation is not only what you show, but what others believe you are capable of. Cultivate rumors as a general cultivates scouts. Send out whispers that exaggerate your resolve, your resources, your reach. Let opponents overestimate you. Their caution will serve you. But be careful. Rumors are a double-edged sword. They must be fed just enough to be credible, and withheld enough to remain mysterious. A reputation must be a lamp, not a bonfire. It should illuminate, not burn the entire village. Learn to read silence the way others read flattery. When a room falls quiet at your presence, know whether it is awe or boredom. When laughter follows your words, decide if it is affection or exasperation. The skilled observer deciphers tone as a map to motive. The naive man hears applause and believes himself beloved. The seasoned man hears applause and asks, "Why now? What does this applause cost me later?" Suspicion is not cynicism. It is an instrument of survival. Never confuse movement for momentum. Activity is often the refuge of insecurity. Men who speak constantly and move without pause believe they are driving history. They are merely filling silence. Momentum is born from conviction and scarcity. The fewer your public gestures, the more weight each one carries. Make scarcity work for you. Let your contributions be occasional and unmistakable. Let others fill the air with noise, while your single, measured act shifts the balance. When confronted with scandal, treat it as a malady to be excised, not a stage to be explained upon. Do not spill your history into public debate. Admit only what must be admitted. Correct only what falsifies you, and then move as though the incident were a closed chapter. Fury and long explanations prolong the wound. Closure hides in decisive, quiet remedies, a deliberate resignation, a calculated gift, a sudden withdrawal. The public has a short memory when offered a new spectacle. Provide one, and the old grievances recede. Above all, accept that not all enemies will reveal themselves openly. Some will drape themselves in smiles and cultivate intimacy to reach your inner sanctum. These are the most dangerous because their daggers are wrapped in laughter. Let your guard be polite but real. Keep tests subtle, a delayed response, a withheld favor, an unexpected question. The traitor will reveal himself through habit. Reward loyalty visibly and punish betrayal quietly. Make the cost of treachery exceed the imagination of the one who considers it. If you must show mercy, let it be strategic. Mercy given without calculation plants future indebtedness. Mercy given cleverly becomes a lever. Pardon in view, but only after you have ensured dependence. Let your clemency be a debt others cannot ignore, and you will have turned kindness into a chain that binds. Finally, remember this essential truth. Power learned only in triumph is brittle. Power forged in restraint, in the knowing not to act, in the posture of controlled forbearance, that power endures. The strongest towers are not built of constant wind and flash. They are built stone by stone, each placed with patience, each aligned to last. So go into the world armed with this tempered knowledge. Carry your silence like a blade. Wear your modesty like armor. Let your presence speak first, and your words fall seldom, like rare coins cast only when a debt must be paid. Protect your image with the same ferocity with which others would spend theirs. For in public life, the smallest concession is often the hinge upon which a kingdom falls. Defend your reputation as you would a fortress. Hold your silence as you would hold your last reserve of men. Protect your image as though it houses your heirs. Fail in these, and the very crowd you sought to command will become the marketplace where your ruin is sold. Remember always, the theater of public life is unforgiving, and if you perform without discipline, you will find your story written by others, and they will not write kindly.